We welcome Warren Bowden today, who's affectionately named Wazza when he goes to Australia. Um, he is from New Zealand, from Dunedin, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. And he did a bit of study there and used to work as an IT technician, I believe. He's says that he used to be normal. So, but we welcome you, even if you're not normal anymore, Warren.
I'm as normal. I'm pretty damn normal, actually.
Yeah,
I'll take offense to that.
I've got a photo of you actually on your average day.
Oh, no, mate, put it away.
I couldn't wait to pull that one out. So welcome, Warren. It's great to have you. First time I met you or saw you at least was at the near the retreat when we had a summer party. And I remember you doing like a healing group healing session for one of the members who was gravely ill.
Yeah.
And it was really quite inspiring actually, because I had a brilliant day anyway. It was just nice to be out in the house around so many positive people. It was really powerful because I mean I was just stood there going, whoa, this is cool. And I had to actually ground myself on a telegraph pole, the wire that comes off it, which I've never had to do before. So I need to sort this out, you know. That was kind of I've understood energy for a long time, but that was kind of a real life example of it happening. So thanks for that.
No worries. You're welcome.
So you've described on your website basically you're mad for living in the UK, and it's probably true. How come you're here, and what drove you to be here?
Just a couple of things. I'm originally from New Zealand, and that's not Australia. But when I had been in Australia, I was called Wazza. That's Wazza, not that it matters. And so why am I here in the UK? To be honest, I always felt drawn to come here, to be here, and I always knew I was going to end up. I always felt drawn to come here, and when I was at the end of kind of leaving school, I thought about coming here to the UK. Maybe it's because my ancestry is from here. My parents were from here originally, and they were like the 10-pound poms that came over on the boat after the war, sort of thing, and immigrated their families to New Zealand. But it's just strange because most people think you're mad because New Zealand's a beautiful place. It's lovely, a more outdoors lifestyle, but I just always felt drawn to come here, and I nearly came here when I finished school, and then I ended up going to Australia, and I nearly lived there for a while, and I nearly came to the UK when I was in Australia, from Australia, and didn't, and so I eventually made it here, and it just feels, you know, when I've been back in New Zealand, if you've ever gone back to your home or where you're from, and it doesn't feel like home to you anymore, and that's the feeling that I've had for a long time. It doesn't. There's a feeling of belonging. You belong, and I feel that for me personally, the opportunities to grow in life have been here, and I've found them here. If you've got world-leading experts in a lot of different things in this part of the world, and the greatest people in minds in Europe, kind of thing. It's just there's so many more opportunities for growth, and if you're not growing, you're dying. So I've always felt that, and I've felt especially over the last 10 years, a sense of destiny. You know, I feel almost spiritually that it's indicated to me that my path is here, and it's been it wasn't it was far from an easy decision, but I just feel that if I honor my heart and what I'm here to do, then I know myself that my place is here, and this is where I feel I belong, and this is where I feel that the work is most needed in this part of the world, especially at this point in time. So definitely. Yeah.
Brilliant, that's lovely. You've got two children, haven't you? They're in New Zealand. Was that really difficult to leave them, or do you miss them?
We were over here, and
okay.
My partner was also from New Zealand at the time, and it was extremely difficult because they went back, and I felt that I would naturally follow because that's what you did, and then as time went on, I realised, you know, I don't think that I can do it, because if I go back, I feel that I'm just going to be turned into a grumpy old bugger who turned his back on his what his heart was saying and what his calling was in life. And maybe that sounds ridiculous, but we live in a different world with the internet, and I had a good paying job at the time and could fly back and forth quite a bit, and 2 or 3 times a year. So it felt like, what, this isn't ideal, far from ideal, but maybe this can work. And over time it felt that it could work. So yeah, and I felt that by doing the work that I'm doing, I would encourage my kids one day to truly follow their hearts and their calling in life and do what they're passionate about.
That's lovely.
It's very, very, it was very, very difficult.
Yeah, I bet. Your son, you have to thank your son actually, because you weren't really into sort of the spiritual healing type stuff. What happened there?
Yeah, well, I thank him, because he had different. After he was born, he was our second baby, and after he was born, he cried a lot. Jeez, he's crying a lot, and it was a really difficult time. We couldn't work out what was going on, and in the end, we found that he had different intolerances and allergies and acid reflux, and that was causing him to cry a lot. And so we looked at different doctors and got different answers every time. And eventually we got this spiritual healer fella, a friend of a friend. And I thought, gee whiz, I don't know about this kind of thing, but I'm open to it, so I'll go suss them out. And he did some special treatment with the gong was in there, and sound healing and different kind of energetic work. And he gave us a rose quartz crystal under my bed and put it out under his cot. And I put my hands on my son, and I could feel, I just wanted love and healing for him, to help him. And I could really feel that there's a lot more going on than what you think here. And I could really feel that things are really happening. So I guess I definitely have to thank my son for helping to get me on this healing journey, and arriving in the UK and coming into Reiki myself and learning that from an amazing teacher, Jane Jones. It just felt really got me on that spiritual path. So
was Reiki the first thing you started doing? Because you're a Reiki master, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. It was it's definitely my the first thing and my first love. And even now with different treatments, it's something that I don't think once you've connected to it, it's just coming from that place of love and connection, and you're not doing anything really. You're just being a channel for a greater intention of love and healing for this person, for the highest good, whatever they need. Please send it through, and you just surrender it over. And whether I'm doing acupuncture or massage or anything like that, I can feel that energy is coming through as well. And sometimes you might use a moxa stick in Chinese medicine, but you're doing Reiki at the same time. Is it all part of the energy really? So
because I looked on your website, you do tons of stuff, don't you? You've been to Uni of Greenwich, haven't you, to do acupuncture? You've got a BSc honours in that, but you do specialise in loads of stuff like Oriental medicines, lots of different bits and bobs. And what's your main sort of where did you start, and where did you run on to, basically? Because you're now doing lots of different things like Tantra, the pods and stuff like that, aren't you?
Yeah. So I guess I started in that Reiki healing, and then I did this sports massage, and then I saw a guy in the clinic doing acupuncture, and I could see all these people getting help with acupuncture, and he said, you put a needle in the toe and the migraine's gone. I said, you really? It was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And so then I thought, I want to go do a degree in that, and that's kind of my main kind of qualification, I suppose. That's the most weight, I suppose. But and it was just amazing how that all works, and a different way of looking at the human body. But I felt that, and then I did reflexology. But I guess there's two things there. Firstly, I like the idea of having a lot of tools in the toolbox. If you just said, certain things will feel right for that person. I like the idea. And that was part of when my son wasn't well, when he was younger, was, having that thinking outside the box rather than just that sort of tunnel vision from I've had this one training and that's how I look at the world, like different glasses, different lenses. So I like that, and having different tools and toolboxes, and a broader range of more holistic kind of thinking, tools to
You've done martial arts as well, haven't you? Does that probably helps for spirituality, especially yoga, which is not really martial art, but it's similar. It helps sort of. Does that help? That helps you, doesn't it, to maintain your energy and also the
I
exercise?
feel, yeah, when I was training the massage earlier on, I was trained by a guy that was a martial arts guy, and he said, you know what, I think the martial arts is really important for grounding and rooting and your stances and your work, and just centering that. And actually, I feel that's really right, and I feel that sort of has served me from that kind of point of view. So I think it's good. I felt that I sort of changed a bit away from the karate kind of martial art, because the aspect of kicking and punching someone didn't feel right for me anymore. And when I saw and heard about things like qigong and qi masters able to use their energy, no one can touch them, no one can knock them over. He just does it by deflecting or turning their energy back on them. I thought something a little more energetic was more, and then I sort of got more into qigong and things. So I think that was like that for me. Like, wow, that was really cool. So
I've always liked that about a lot of kung fu, that they do that center line stuff and just deflection. It's brilliant if you watch a master. He hardly even moves. The guy's like, Rah! Just goes.
That's right.
So he flies over the other side of the room. So you were invited to do like a Tantra class, and you sent me a message actually regarding this, and it's quite funny. Like, you're like, you what, mate? Tantra? That sounds a bit dodgy.
It's dodgy, mate.
Dodgy.
You go and do a search on the internet, see what you find.
Yeah,
that's not dodgy waters. Jeez.
So what were you expecting? What actually happened?
I guess a few years ago, my life coach at the time, St. George, an amazing woman from Osho Leela, she said we had a conversation with her, and I'd been single for about 8 years and wasn't into dating or anything. And she mentioned things like Kama Sutra. I said, what are you talking about? And she said lingam and yoni. I said, I've never heard of those. What? And she said, yeah, Warren, I think you need a bit of an education. There's some great Tantra teachers here in the UK. And I thought, you're kidding me. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm into growth and development, and I'll just throw myself into the water. And I'll go to one of these workshops. And I was expecting something totally dodgy. I was expecting to walk out in the first 5 minutes. I'm not taking my clothes off. This is deviant kind of weirdo stuff. But actually, it was really it was one of those times when I was glad that I plucked up the courage to go and experience that. And what I found was it just helped to get me in my heart, connect more within myself. And I was very much in the head and just talk to other people and that express what I was feeling, because a lot of the time in the past I've held my words and not spoken my truth when I was younger, and it just felt like it just opened up something more on a deeper level, and it wasn't really sexual or anything. It just felt it was really about just connecting and being present with what is here, and something like eye gazing. I did and it's just you guys gaze into someone's eyes for 2-3 minutes. How does that feel? How do you feel? What do you see? What do you notice about yourself? Are you looking around? Are you trying to distract yourself? Do you feel uncomfortable? Do you see something in them that makes you feel uncomfortable about yourself? Does it trigger anything in you? It's just really about having that awareness. And after that, I started. I went back for another one, and I kept doing it, and now I do these events with my partner Anya, and it was her idea to do these events together, and she's had a lot more experience in it. But
you met her at one of those events, didn't you?
Oh, I met her at that first workshop.
Oh, right, the first one, yeah.
And we sort of danced for a bit, and I looked at her, and I looked in her eyes, and there was this feeling of seeing myself mirrored, reflected back to me, and she, in her eyes, I felt kind of, there was also a longing, there was a loneliness and a longing for connection, and I didn't. Oh, there's something in myself that I denied. I thought, well, I don't need a woman. I'm too bloody busy for women. Women are just distracting in your life. But that was how I felt. But then I saw that, this is a part of me. This is a loving part of me that wants to love and be loved and feel love. And I've denied myself for a long time. And I could see that in her eyes, and I felt that. And I felt there was a connection, a real connection with her. And it was funny because then we did dancing with other people and other exercise, and there was the opportunity to come back and connect again. And I sort of shied away because I felt something so strong after that first connection. I thought, crikey, if I phone this woman, or I feel like that's it. This is, I'll never meet anyone else. And that's bizarre from the first time I met her. But actually, and in the end, I did ask for a phone number. I thought, well, maybe we just go for a walk and connect, and talk, and that was it, really. So all over. Yeah, but yeah.
So it's a forever thing now. She went out to New Zealand with you recently, didn't she?
Yeah,
That was nice.
it was awesome. I was really glad that she could come, and the trip wasn't exactly as we were expecting it, but I was really glad that she was there. And at times it was great to have her support and to show her a bit of New Zealand, is such a beautiful place, and she loves the countryside.
Yeah, cool. So you've obviously achieved a lot in your life with regards to health and happiness and stuff. What advice would you give someone who's kind of fed up with the way things are? Potentially their health is bad, their mental health's bad, or they just want a change. What's the greatest things that you've learned from other people or through yourself that are easily attainable?
But in terms of health, or wellness, the best things in life are actually the most simplest, and getting a good night's sleep. It's free, doesn't cost anything, and yeah, it's one of the most powerful things you can do. Drinking healthy, clean, healthy water. I don't go with any of the tap stuff. I get mine from a natural spring. Something that someone told me I thought was really interesting is that if you had a pinch of salt and a few drops from a lemon into your water, that helps the digestibility of the water. Actually, the great guys at ASEA told me about that. And actually, I found that to be true. It's more absorbed into your body, because I notice I pee less when I do that with my water. So I find that's something. But sleep was my biggest health hurdle, and I had to address things like my gut health and things like parasites I overcame, and candida. But the sleep can be really debilitating. So that is prioritizing that in your life, switching off your devices at a particular time, being aware that different light bulbs give out more blue light. So what are you allowing before bedtime, kind of thing? Having that morning daily routine, the winding down of the nighttime. I do different things in the morning, that morning practice that sets you up for the day, that gets you in that really good mental state and positivity for the day. What you spend your time on, what are you focusing your energy on? Is it things that are positive and bringing love into the world, or things that aren't? So eating healthy soil. If you can't get your groceries or food, natural food that's unprocessed from somewhere you can trust, then Soil Association certified organic might be the next best option. But looking at food and how much life is in this, how much life force is in this food for me right now. I'm bringing this into my body. Is it going to give me energy? And with diet, kind of keeping things simple and just seeing what is my body telling me? If I go to the toilet, what are my stools saying? Do they really smell bad? That's my digestive system telling me something. Do I feel tired after eating a particular food? There's all sorts of different signs that your body is giving you. And I guess one of the big things just for me more recently is that ability to say no. And because they say that your yes has no value until you learn to say no. And so saying no and giving more time for myself and taking a day a week to go into nature. I mean, for me, that's where my rejuvenation kind of happens in nature with connecting. I put my bare feet on the earth as much as possible and just do some breath work on the forest floor and just that kind of solitude connecting time in nature, I feel is really important. And it's kind of like in saying no and setting more boundaries so that actually when I do come out with a yes, it has a lot more energy and I can show up more in a better way when I say yes to things because I've given myself that space that I need. So
that's lovely. Great. That's really, really nice. As you say, all of that's for free, isn't it? So, and most people do not follow that, including myself.
I'm still working on the happiness. I'm still working on the happiness thing, mate. So I don't know how much I can say about that.
Okay. Well, that's work in progress.
That's a work in progress.
Well, the more events we do, the more I think if you spend time with a lot of happy people, that really rubs off. I think
it does actually.
It's a lot of it for me and potentially for you and other people. It's childhood stuff and environmental conditioning, which we won't go into now because we'll be here for hours. So I really can't wait to see you again in person, which probably won't be too long. And really thank you for your time, Warren. It's been amazing.
Toby, thanks, mate. It's a privilege to be asked. Thank you for all that you're doing in the world too, mate. Because you're a great example of someone who is just putting it out there with an open heart. But you're putting what you're passionate about out there, and that's what we need more of. This is my passion. This is what I'm bringing to the world, and I see you really stepping up and doing that. And I think it's just bloody awesome. And good on you, mate, and thank you.
Yeah, I've said in a few videos, I mean, I haven't really known what I'm doing from one step to the next, and that doesn't matter. You know, every child starts building something. They don't think of what it's going to end up like. They just build it, and if it falls down, they rebuild it. You know, if something doesn't work, so that's how we should all be, really. I think, and you know, and it's nice, like yourself. It's good to help other people and be a good role model, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's 99% of us are here for that reason, to help others. So, you know.
And and I like yourself. I mean, it's really important to when you do get inspiration to do something, just to do it, and because otherwise you just end up an old man, grumpy old man, as you said, just annoyed that you didn't take those. You're too scared, you know, for failure or whatever.
The mind comes in, can take you out of the game, but to let that go and do it anyway, throwing yourself into the fire kind of thing.
Yeah, cool. I will catch up with you soon, probably after the big event that you're doing, and we can have another video at some point.
Awesome. So, all right.
Thanks, Warren. Have a lovely day.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers. Bye.